Email marketing. Let's first take a look at the types of emails. There are different types of emails you can send, and here are some of them. Simple email, welcome email, newsletters, confirmation emails, thank you emails, etc. Let's dive in. Here we can see an example of a simple email. It's focused on creating a conversation, as it looks like an email that was sent from one person to another. It gives a personal feeling because it's not designed. It looks like a basic email. So the email doesn't have to be overly designed to be engaging. As you can see, it also uses PS and PPS with links. What this email doesn't do, and it could, is using a name token so that it would start with "Hi John" or whatever the recipient's name is. Another example is Doodle. Welcome email. You receive this email when you sign up for the service, and as you can see, it helps you onboard quicker. Usually, it's not a single email, but a sequence of emails that one receives after signing up for a new service. Then there's another example, Vidyard. It's a design newsletter, but it has simple design. Its main purpose is to educate the readers. And since the center is a business video platform, the email also includes a video, which of course is just an animated image that takes the reader to the web page with the actual video. Another example is Goop and its combination of both lifestyle content and featured products in the online store. It uses strong visuals and a custom font. The layout starts with one column and continues with 2 columns. Call to actions are simple. And here's one from Airbnb. This one was sent using analytics because the person who received it was looking for a room in Miami. As you can see, the content is educational. Content is extremely important in email marketing because in this case, it makes sense that a Miami checklist would be interesting to someone looking for rooms in Miami and perhaps lead them to book one. Let's now look at email copy. What factors are at play when we open emails? Sender, subject, and preview text. The latter is often forgotten, but it's the text you see in the inbox below the subject line and can be considered a continuation of the subject line, something like a subtitle. So when we test what works in emails to get them opened, we can play with these 3 parameters. But for an email to actually get read, we need to know how to write good copy. We have already mentioned the relevant subject and preview text. It makes sense to start with key information. Don't use jargon. Instead, explain in words your audience will understand. You can personalize the email with tokens like their name or the name of the company. If you have segmented the audience, it's much easier to personalize it because you know the context. The links they have clicked on, the emails they have opened, the products they have bought, their age, and anything you know about them and have stored in your database. The better you know your audience, the easier it will be to get your email copy right. Write for the web. This means short sentences and paragraphs, bullet points, simple words. Even though it's an email and not a school essay, don't forget about the grammar. You can also use Grammarly or similar grammar checkers. And the style needs to follow the guidelines for your company. Depending on the tone of voice, you can decide whether to use emojis or not. CTA, or call to action, usually you'll have one or more CTAs in the email that need to be very clear in communicating where they are taking the reader and why they should click on them. You can and should test emails to see what works. You can vary different elements, but change just one so you know what worked better. We already talked about sender, subject line, and preview text. We can also test content, change an image, experiment with the formatting and style of the content, different offers, etc. Modern platforms enable you to do that automatically and perform a test on a smaller group of recipients, and whatever version wins the test is then sent out to the rest of the recipients. Let's look at the snippets and templates that help us write emails. Snippets are short, canned phrasers. You can think of them as sound bites. and they help you write email quicker, as you already have a prepared text for a specific purpose. You can quickly access them when you write these emails, and it's also beneficial that everyone on your team can access snippets, so your communication on a particular subject is aligned. This is an example from HubSpot, but other platforms may use a similar approach. Template is longer than a snippet, and it's planned and used as an entire email. The example is again from HubSpot that offers several templates, but you can also start from scratch. You can and should change the copy to make it sound more like you. We also recommend you update the templates when you see what works and what doesn't. Segmentation helps you send the right message to the right person at the right time. We want to focus on the context, not just the content. You can segment the audience with any data you have about the recipients. For example, industry, life cycle, existing or potential customers, age, website behavior, email interaction. On the right side, you can see an example of a reconversion campaign where an email is sent to gauge interest to a segment of the recipients who haven't been opening their emails. This is related to gray mail. This happens when you contact sign up, but then doesn't open the emails. This affects your open rate and hence your deliverability in inboxes, because future emails are more likely to end up in the junk folder or spam folder. If you continue to send emails to contacts who don't open or click, your overall sender score will deteriorate. What you can do is use the option to not send to unengaged contacts that many platforms have. This one is in HubSpot. This way you will send to fewer people, but with the same number of people opening the emails, your open rate will be higher. To use the segmentation, you can also personalize the emails to create a better experience for your recipients. We have already mentioned that you can use tokens for a name, company, but also for anything else that is relevant and for which you have the data, such as age, sex, product use, etc. That's why an email platform that's connected to the database is so important. And now let's look at the automation with sequences and workflows. When using email, we want to automate as much as possible to keep the contacts engaged, but also get some time back. Sequences are a series of emails to nurture contacts over time. They can be trigger-based or time-based. When the contact replies to the email or books a meeting, they will automatically unenroll from the sequence. As you can see from the example on the right, there are a few templates for sequences for specific purposes, such as following up after a conference, but you can design your own sequences from scratch. Workflows are another way to automate the sending of emails, especially bulk emails. For example, you can resend the newsletter to the contacts who didn't open it, possibly with a different subject line. They can be much more complex than what you see on the right. The enrollment can be either manual or automatic, as we see in this example. You set triggers and contacts are enrolled in the workflow when they meet those triggers. When they meet a set goal, they will be unenrolled from the workflow. A simple option is also workflow to download a guide in exchange for the data. As you can see in the example, the contact can sign up for the newsletter. This way, the database is also GDPR compliant, which is another good side effect. Behind the scenes, a simple workflow is set up to send the email to the customer after they download the ebook. Let's wrap up this module with analytics. We usually check deliverability metrics such as opens, clicks, bounces, etc., but it's also important to understand positive and negative engagement such as churn and unsubscribe. Here are some basic analytics you can check for each email. Many platforms also allow you to export performance charts as PDF files. Open rate is the percentage of people who opened an email, but this number is not necessarily accurate after Apple introduced new privacy features. Click rate is the percentage of people who clicked a link in your email out of the people who were delivered your email. And click-through rate is the percentage of recipients who click the link in your email out of those who opened it. But we can also go much deeper than that, depending on the data we have for the website. A contact opens a newsletter, then goes to the website 3 times in the next week to check the pricing page of a product. Because we track that, we can automatically use a workflow to send an email with content related to this product or a problem that this product solves. We also want to check how many recipients have unsubscribed and if anyone has reported our email as spam. Then, what email clients are recipients using? Have you checked how your emails appear in those email clients? What about mobile access? It's interesting to check the open rate and click rate. What is the ratio of contact who opened on a desktop versus mobile and clicked on a desktop versus mobile? In addition to the individual email metrics, we should also review the overall email channel. How does your email channel perform against the other communication channels you use? When we look at the campaign, what drove the most traffic? Was it email, social media, or perhaps ads? And of course, you also need to take a look at the ROI of the email strategy, so to measure the investment and the outcome of the email strategy. And now let's take a look at another module.